Hey everyone, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you enjoy the content. Today we're diving into some truly unsettling territory, the reign of Kim Jong Un. Now, we've all seen the memes, the photoshopped images of him riding unicorns, and heard the stories about his supposed love of basketball. But what often gets lost in the shuffle is the truly horrific human cost of his rule. We're talking about a level of cruelty that would make even the most jaded dictator blush. So, buckle up, because we're about to unpack 14 of the most ruthless acts committed under Kim Jong Un's watch. Now you might think that being family would buy you some leeway with a dictator, but in the case of Kim Jong Un's uncle, Jang Song-taek, you'd be dead wrong. And when I say dead wrong, I mean wrong. In 2013, Jang Song-taek, once a powerful figure in the North Korean regime, was accused of treason and other charming offenses. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of a quiet execution, Kim Jong Un opted for a more theatrical approach. Jang Song-taek was reportedly stripped of his clothes, fed to a pack of 120 starving dogs, and then finished off with anti-aircraft fire. I mean, you've got to hand it to Kim Jong Un, the man knows how to make a statement. Of course, that statement is usually, if you cross me, I will kill you in the most creatively horrific way imaginable. Next up, we have the assassination of Kim Jong Un's half-brother Kim Jong Nam. Now, family reunions were probably a bit awkward in the Kim household, but in 2017, things took a particularly dark turn. Kim Jong Nam, who was living abroad at the time, was attacked by two women at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Their weapon of choice? A nerve agent known as VX, which they smeared on his face. Oh, and did I mention they disguised the nerve agent as a harmless prank, telling Jong Nam it was for a hidden camera show? Because nothing says brotherly love like a lethal dose of VX disguised as a joke. Kim Jong Nam died shortly after. The assassination sent shockwaves around the world, and it highlighted the lengths to which Kim Jong Un is willing to go to eliminate potential rivals. When you're a dictator with a penchant for paranoia, it's important to keep your inner circle, well, constantly rotating. And that's where Kim Jong Un's purges come in. Since taking power, he's orchestrated a series of purges targeting high-ranking officials within the government and military. We're not talking about a gentle reassignment to a Siberian work camp here. We're talking about accusations of treason, corruption, and any other trumped-up charge you can imagine. And the punishments? Well, let's just say they make a strong case for keeping your head down and your mouth shut. We're talking executions by anti-aircraft fire, disappearances, and sentences to the horrific North Korean prison camps. The message is clear. Loyalty is paramount, and any perceived slight, no matter how small, can be fatal. Hidden away from the prying eyes of the world are North Korea's notorious labor camps, a chilling testament to the regime's brutality. These camps, known as Kwanlee-so, are home to an estimated 80,000 to 120,000 prisoners. And when I say prisoners, I'm not just talking about hardened criminals. Oh no, we're talking about political dissidents, their families, and even people who committed the heinous crime of watching a South Korean drama. Life in these camps is nothing short of horrific. Prisoners are subjected to forced labor, starvation, torture, and public executions. The conditions are so inhumane that many prisoners don't survive their sentences. They're essentially death camps operating under the radar of international law. And the truly messed up part? Many of these prisoners haven't even committed a crime. They're simply caught in the crosshairs of Kim Jong Un's paranoia. While Kim Jong Un dines on imported delicacies, millions of North Koreans struggle to survive on meager rations. Food shortages and famine have plagued the country for decades, and under Kim Jong Un's rule, the situation has only worsened. The regime's economic mismanagement, coupled with international sanctions, has created a perfect storm of hunger and despair. It's estimated that millions of North Koreans are chronically malnourished, and children are particularly vulnerable. The images of emaciated children with distended bellies are enough to break your heart. But remember, this isn't a natural disaster. This is a man-made crisis, orchestrated by a regime more concerned with maintaining its grip on power than feeding its people. Now, if there's one thing that Kim Jong Un understands, it's the power of fear. And what better way to instill fear in a population than by making them witness to the state's brutality firsthand? Public executions are a chilling reality in North Korea. People accused of crimes, both real and imagined, are often executed in front of large crowds, including children. These executions are carried out with a chilling efficiency. Prisoners are often blindfolded and tied to stakes, then shot by firing squads. The message is clear: step out of line and this could be you. In North Korea, freedom of speech, expression, and thought are nothing more than dangerous illusions. The regime maintains an iron grip on all forms of information. State-controlled media pumps out a steady stream of propaganda glorifying Kim Jong Un and demonizing the outside world. Access to the internet and foreign media is strictly controlled, and those caught consuming unauthorized content face severe consequences. We're talking imprisonment, torture, and even death. It's a country where even whispering a criticism of the regime can land you and your entire family in a labor camp. Now strap in, because this next chapter is particularly disturbing. North Korea has long been accused of conducting horrific human experiments on political prisoners. These allegations paint a picture of a regime that views human life as disposable, a means to an end. Prisoners are reportedly subjected to experiments with chemical and biological weapons, forced to inhale poisonous gases, and injected with unknown substances. There are even reports of pregnant women being forced to abort their babies, all in the name of scientific research. In the dead of night they came ashore, not an invading army but agents of the North Korean regime, snatching innocent civilians from beaches and streets. Since the 1970s, North Korea has been accused of abducting hundreds of foreign nationals, including Japanese, South Korean, and even European citizens. These abductions serve a chilling purpose. The victims are often forced to teach Korean language and culture to North Korean spies, ensuring they can blend seamlessly into foreign societies. Others are used as bargaining chips, a way to extract concessions from foreign governments. It's a chilling reminder that Kim Jong Un's reach extends far beyond the borders of his isolated nation. Imagine living in a country where you need permission to move from one city to another. For North Koreans, this is a daily reality. The regime maintains strict control over all internal movement. Citizens need special permits to travel within the country, and unauthorized travel is strictly prohibited. Those caught trying to flee the country face dire consequences, including imprisonment, torture, and even death. The regime has even erected fences and guard posts along its borders, transforming the entire country into an open-air prison. It's one thing to unleash chemical weapons on an enemy, but it's a whole other level of depravity to use them on your own people. And yet, that's exactly what the North Korean regime has been accused of doing. Reports have emerged of the regime using chemical weapons, including nerve agents, against its own citizens. The details are often shrouded in secrecy, but the allegations are deeply disturbing. These attacks are a chilling reminder of the regime's utter disregard for human life, even within its own borders. It's a stark reminder that in Kim Jong Un's North Korea, no one is safe. In the digital age, warfare has taken on a new form, cyber warfare, and North Korea, under Kim Jong Un's leadership, has emerged as a major player in this shadowy realm. The regime has been linked to numerous cyber attacks targeting governments, businesses, and individuals around the world. These attacks are often designed to steal sensitive information, disrupt critical infrastructure, and sow chaos and discord. From the Sony Pictures hack to the WannaCry ransomware attack, North Korea has shown a willingness to use cyber warfare as a tool to advance its interests and punish its perceived enemies. In Kim Jong Un's North Korea, the rule of law is nothing more than a cruel joke. The regime routinely carries out extrajudicial killings, murders without any semblance of due process. People accused of crimes, or even those simply suspected of disloyalty, are often executed without trial, their families left in the dark about their fate. These killings are a chilling reminder that in North Korea, your life can be snuffed out at any moment, on the whim of a dictator. It's a system where fear and paranoia reign supreme, and where the value of human life is measured in loyalty to the regime. The depths of human cruelty know no bounds, and the torture methods employed by the North Korean regime are a testament to that grim reality. Political prisoners in North Korea are subjected to unimaginable horrors, torture methods designed to break their bodies and spirits. We're talking waterboarding, beatings, stress positions, and electric shocks. Prisoners are often held in solitary confinement for years, deprived of food, water, and even sunlight. The psychological torture is just as insidious as the physical. Prisoners are forced to denounce their beliefs, confess to crimes they didn't commit, and even betray their loved ones. Look, it's easy to laugh off Kim Jong Un as a bizarre dictator with a questionable haircut and an even more questionable fashion sense. But the reality is far more sinister. Behind the carefully crafted facade of military might and socialist utopia lies a regime that rules through fear, violence, and oppression. We've just scratched the surface of the atrocities committed under his watch. The The stories we've shared are a stark reminder that the human cost of Kim Jong Un's rule is immeasurable. It's a country where millions live in fear and poverty, where basic human rights are routinely violated, and where dissent is met with swift and brutal retribution. So the next time you see Kim Jong Un's face plastered across your newsfeed, remember the stories we've shared today. Remember the victims, the survivors, and the countless others who suffer in silence under his oppressive regime.